Okay, this obviously takes a very tall rider. Massive battery, 60 amp hour, 52 volt battery. It's huge. 30. 31. This is the Tesway X7 Pro. It's a folding fat tire e-bike, but it's got a bit of extra on the back. Plus, look at that rear suspension. It's like on a motorbike, air shock. But not only that, have you seen this? That's a battery, not a suitcase. Let's see if it's any good. Hello, and here we are on the X7 Pro from Tesway, and I'm pretty sure they used to be called Tesco, but they probably changed it because they didn't want it to sound like a supermarket and made an e-bike. GPS is saying that we're going 24 miles per hour. The bike is saying we're going 27 miles per hour. That is a bit of a discrepancy. I watched a video on this bike earlier whilst I was having breakfast. They actually had a GPS out, and they put it down to the fact that the GPS could not keep up with the bike. I thought that was very interesting. More likely that this brand have done what many other brands do, and they've put the wrong wheel measurements into the computer. Because what they do is they put big wheel measurements so that every rotation of the wheel, the bike computer thinks you're covering a bit more distance and therefore going a little bit faster. So we're going to go into the computer right now and check. These are 20-inch, 4-inch wide fat tyres. However, when you actually measure these 20-inch, 4-inch wide fat tyres, they're actually more like 22 inches. So, let's have a look. 24 inches, there we go. Press I, put it down to 22 inches. Now, I think that the speed is now going to match up properly. It takes off fairly fast, but not super fast, because we've got used to a few dual motorbikes which have got insane takeoff torque. But there we go. You can see now the speed is matching up much better. It does actually take a little bit of extra time to catch up for the GPS. However, it's not that it can't keep up with the bike. If you travel at a speed for a while, then it will eventually match. Yeah, it looks about right now. So 22 inches. So now the computer's probably going to give us a more accurate speed reading. Now the headlines of this bike are that massive battery, 60 amp hour, 52 volt battery. It's huge. So we've got a key on the other side. Unlock the key, unplug that. Whoa, come on, there we go. And oh, it's actually still locked in. There we go. You got to push it, pull that battery out, but saddle's in the way, so it doesn't have a lever on the bottom. Some have got a lever and you can tilt it forward. So to get that out, you need to basically take the saddle off. Luckily, the saddle is quick release, but it's still a bit annoying. I would have liked that lever. Right, get that on the runner, and then put it down, plug it in, put the saddle in. Job's a good one. And it's meant to be able to let you do 200 miles of range. That is ridiculous.
And to charge a 60 amp hour battery with the standard 2 amp charger you usually get with e-bikes, you would need 30 hours, more than an entire day. Luckily, they supply a 6 amp charger, so it only takes 10 hours. That might still seem a lot, but a 3-hour charge on this bike will get you more range than you would charging other bikes for 6 hours. Whilst we're talking about the charger, let's see what else you get in the box.
In the box there's the rear seat and some foot pegs, and we've got pedals, removable throttle, tools, manual under there, and handlebar stem. The other headline is that it's a 1,200 watt bike, peaking at 1,600, which is massive as well.
As mentioned, the bike has those monster rear springs that look like they've come straight from a motorbike. It also has lockable front suspension, so along with the fat tyres, these nasty roads should pose no problems at all.
When we go through the potholes, it's comfortable enough. Something's rattling, could be the saddle. The saddle's cool. because I was going to take my son to school on this bike today. However, he's ill, so he hasn't managed to ride it, but he will. So the question is that 1,200 watts, 1,600 watt peak going to propel us up Sandy Lane? So this has got 100 Newton meters of torque, just like this bike. Yeah, hopefully it does better than that one. Let's go, 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so 12 miles an hour, 13, 14 miles an hour, 15. Now it's looking bad. Yeah, I'm not sure about 100 Newton meters good, but it's looking good so far. It's a heavy bike. You know what? I don't know how heavy it is. I'll tell you now. The bike is 49 kilograms. I'm not really sure where I can lift it. I'm just gonna have to put my arm under the saddle. And 49, it's very, very rear heavy, and it's just got my shins. The stand has got my foot. But we're not stopping. The speed is coming down now. As expected, it's struggling here, but at 8 miles an hour, it's gonna get up. There we go, and across the line.
And the Tesway completed Sandy Lane in 1 minute and 9 seconds. Not a terrible time, but also not an astonishing time considering the power and torque numbers. It is a heavy bike and it was cold, but I still would have expected a bit more.
I think an interesting comparison will be how it compares to, say, the Engine Pro 2, the Vitalan i7 Pro 2, and the Pivi Z20 1000 Plus, because it's a similar kind of thing to them. It's a folding fat tyre e-bike, but it's got a massive battery. So if you're after a bike like that, one of them folding fat tyre e-bikes, but you want that extra range, this might be the bike you need. Now let's just put it into a bit of perspective. 60 amp hour battery. Usually e-bikes have anywhere between a 10 amp hour battery or maybe even a 20 amp hour battery. They're the big ones. The big batteries are 20 amp hours. But then to get to true capacity, you've got to take voltage into account. So you take the voltage, you multiply it by the amp hours to get the watt hours, and that's the real capacity. So you might get a battery with a smaller amp hours, but because it's got more volts, it ends up with a higher capacity. This has got 52 volts, so more than your standard 48, and it's got 60 amp hours, and when you multiply them together, you get 3,120 watt hours, which is like 3 kilowatt hours, which is mad. Like my car is 40 kilowatt. Oh, what am I waiting for? I can go past these people. Oh, hello. There was no voltage sag as we went up the hill. It stayed on 5 bars, which is nice. Let's see how fast we get down here. Now we've adjusted the speed to be properly 30. 31. That'll do. That's not too bad. GPS says maximum speed 32. The gearing, it's got your 7-speed Shimano Tawny, which is basic. I bet anyone who watches all my videos is like, oh, here he goes, talking about Shimano Tawny again, saying it's basic. Now he's going to tell us it's well adjusted. Well, let's have a look. I'm in 7th. Let's go down to first. First, second, third, fourth. I can feel it changing. 5th, 6th, over the bumps. Very comfortable. 7. It is well adjusted. But if yours isn't, just because mine is, doesn't mean yours will be. You just have to mess around with the 2 screws until they are adjusted properly. It takes a while sometimes, but it is fairly easy. But you know, they're all right. It just means it's kind of hard to keep up a high speed. I mean, the main thing is, you want to know how fast it goes throttle only. So if I stop, we are going uphill actually now. Like we're going uphill. We're going 21-ish miles an hour, which for this, it's it's not too bad. It's a good speed. Because let's not forget, this is an e-bike. And if you're buying this bike to carry someone around with the seats at the back, you don't really want to be going too fast with them on the back. So flat ground, it seems to go, for me at least, about 20. Here we go, it's flat now. About 25, but now we're going downhill again. So downhill, obviously, we're going quite fast. It's like 29 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. Let's slow down. No indicators, which is a shame. We've got the horn built into the thingy, accelerator. Now that rear saddle, it was a bit stupid. Like, let me show you why it's stupid. So these need to be loosened, and then they will go into the big holes and then slide that way. But you also need to put like a safety one in there, and then you've got to screw them all up, because these could probably do with a little bit of tightening. But somehow, without a 90-degree screwdriver, you've got to do it under there. I won't bore you with how I get it done. Oh, God. Ow. Oh, bugger. That's not good. But yeah, I'm not sure how we're meant to get the saddle on. Like, how do I get underneath it to screw stuff in? And the screws, the clips that the saddle kind of used to clip into, they weren't like the most secure. So you've got to be careful with that saddle. I could see it coming off. I mean, it would have been better if they just used straps, so you could just kind of ratchet the spongy bit on. But it's quite good that it's there.
So how is that rear seat? I did manage to take Will out on a ride, so what did the experts at being a passenger think about the Tesway X7 Pro compared to his previous experiences?
Hello, you've seen me before.
They might not have.
Yeah.
I take him to school on the Fido T2 Longtail, which you quite like, don't you? That's the one with the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah? He's had a little ride on the back of this, done a few miles on it. What do you think?
It is very good. It's very sturdy. It's just that it's hard to find something to hold on to.
Yeah, it's quite comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But you haven't got the cage.
You know when I'm on?
Yeah, so
Probably.
you've just been holding on to the saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you quite like it.
I rate this one like a 7 and the other one a 9.
There is one disadvantage with the other one though.
Yeah, because I'm excited to use the new one, which will lift up, and you'll probably review it with me in.
Yeah. Thanks for helping test the bike.
You are welcome, sir.
And of course, you don't have to have a rear passenger. The Tesway X7 Pro is hugely versatile, with front and rear racks available as well as a trailer. I also like the fact that the front light sits on the bike and not on the front rack, meaning you aren't forced to have it on like you are with the Fido T2 Longtail.
The bike, it went together a bit like this. This Tesway X7 box is absolutely massive. So big and so bulky, and no way of picking it up apart from that little piece of rubbish cardboard hole that it's stuck in here, which means I've had to put it together. Well, I'm going to have to put it together, which means I'm doing this maybe a couple of weeks earlier than I would have, ahead of some Enquiries bikes that I should have done. So anyone expecting an L20 Boost video, I'm sorry. Looks pretty well packed, as always. Tighten up the handlebars once they're straight with the wheel. My favourite bit, doing the pedals. Put the pedals on, followed by the pedal covers. Get the backrest on. Take the old hand grip off to put the throttle on. I've left a gap, which is nice. Hopefully that'll be enough. Interestingly, the throttle is where the horn is. Weird. Put the cap back in and connect. Flat ground, 27, 28. That's actually 28 actually. Yeah, that's pretty what that's what we want. 28. Oh, get some wire. Someone's taking someone's power. Yeah, this is definitely flat road. 28 miles an hour. I'm quite happy with the performance of this bike. I'm not going to say I'm like super impressed, but I'm going to say I'm not disappointed because it's pretty much giving as advertised. I'm still on full bars, as you would expect from this crazy range bike. I've done about 5 miles. Now this bike does have a cadence sensor rather than a torque sensor. Now I actually secretly prefer those. I don't ever tell anyone that. And so it took a while to kick in, like half a rotation to kick in. Obviously it's got a throttle, but without the throttle you haven't got the buzzer because it's attached to the throttle. So without the throttle you just need to be careful when you're pulling off at lights or up hills. Try and remember to be in a high gear. Maybe give yourself a little push when you go, and if you do that you'll be fine. But it does feel good, this bike. It gets up to some nice speeds and it feels comfortable. The saddle's huge compared to my usual fat tyre folders. Because of that rear seat and the foot pegs, which are cool as well, it just gives it a bit of a premium feel. Like the way the rear rack is part of the bike, it's not just added onto the bike. It's a bit different from your usual fat tyre folder, so I like that. Let's see how it folds. Not looking forward to this. 49 kilograms, it's heavy. It's got the pedals that fold, a little safety clip, undo that, bring it around. Okay, that's quite smooth. It's got the metal thing, oh, to the stand that it's going to land on. Pull them together, the pedal's in the way. It's a bit unsteady. It's not very well balanced when it's folded. Yeah, like it just wants to be over there. Yeah, it just doesn't want to stand up. And then the handlebar, look at that. That's a bit dumb. All in all though, it's a very luxurious bike. Lowest height, you've got to get your leg really far up if you've got the rear saddle on. You know what, that feels fairly high. I think you might need to be a bit taller if you're going to go on this. If you're going to ride it like that, you'd probably be all right if you're 5'4". Whoa, this is going to go high. Oh no. Okay, this obviously takes a very tall rider. I cannot even reach the floor. Yep, Hulk Hogan height, 6'8", maybe more. I can bottom the suspension out, but it does feel pretty good. Like it's a budget bike. I know it's expensive because e-bikes are generally quite expensive, but in terms of e-bikes themselves, it's a budget bike. But it's got the front and rear lights, and they seem okay. It's got mud guards, front and rear. Plastic, but black. I actually like black plastic because it means they don't rattle. They're probably not as strong as metal, but I think they'd probably last longer. I mean, some people say metal would be better, but when they rust and stuff. The hand grips are a bit uncomfortable. You can easily change them. I prefer those flared ones. These don't have that. I'd never like not get a bike because of them, but it's always nice when they've got them. The screen's a nice colour screen, easily seeable in the light, and it's got that cool little road thing that is kind of like a computer game, like a Tomy-tronic game. The tyres are quite nice. They're Kenda puncture resistant tyres. You know what I haven't done? I haven't done a brake test because it's got hydraulic brakes as well. I'm going 23 miles an hour. Whoa! Whoa! Right, and that happens as well. I think you can see that because it's got the seat back. I'm going to get my leg a bit higher. It's not step through. That's actually not too bad. Looks about 4 meters. I was going 24 miles an hour. It's got a lot of stuff going for it, especially when you compare it to similar priced e-bikes. For example, the Engine Pro 2 is a similar price. I think this is probably a stronger fat tyre folder contender, but is it the best fat tyre folder of 1990? Hang on, what year is it? 2024. To find out, you're gonna have to watch the Biebers. So at the end of this year, I'm going to release the Bieber Awards, the Budget E-Bike Awards, so we can see which is the best of each category in the world of budget e-bikes. So don't miss that. But this is the end of the first ride. I'm obviously going to take it out again and ride, so you'll get a voiceover, a bit more of an opinion.
Sadly, I didn't have time to ride the bike 200 miles to test the range, but maybe, just maybe, I could do a longer range test after Christmas. If you want to see that, then leave us a comment, and if I get enough comments, I shall do it. As for my experience so far, I only managed to lose 1 bar, and that took 14 miles. If I were to get 14 miles per bar, then that would be 70 miles, and of course I was riding at full speed and not in assist level 1 as they would want me to get the full range. I also had my son with me for a lot of that ride too. Of course, lower down the battery the performance will decrease, but in the 17 miles I rode, I didn't notice any difference. I think apart from the slightly underwhelming hill climb, I've been really impressed with this bike. It's almost like a touring e-bike with its rear comfortable saddle, like the Honda Goldwing of e-bikes. It's nice that it has the capacity to take a passenger, and that ability has actually been built into the frame, evidenced by the foot pegs, which are often missing on bikes with rear seats. And when you consider that the battery takes up a big bulk of the price of an e-bike, it's hard to choose a similar priced fat tyre folding e-bike when you consider their battery is probably less than a third of the size. For the price, you are getting a hell of a lot. And if you do like the look of the bike and are thinking of making a purchase, it would help me a lot if you use the link below in the description, as it won't cost you any extra, but it will send a bit of commission this way. Also, if you want to save a bit of money, be sure to use our discount code at the checkout.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, thanks for staying till the end, you've still helped me. Leave us a comment why you didn't enjoy it, and then give us that thumbs down. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Ride safe.